Hi guys, this is a casual fan. Now, this will be the first week when we'll have all the cars on track for the first time this season. From 23rd February, we'll have the first preseason test. Now, since we are done with all the F1 car launches, I thought it was the perfect time for us to take a look back and see what we have learned until now from all the car launches. Now, lest we forget, we have only one preseason test this season, unlike last season where we had two. There will be only 3 days of testing on 23rd Feb, 24th and 25th. 3 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And most importantly, just 1.5 days for each driver. If we take all of these things into consideration, everything has to be almost perfect even beforehand. Every team will be trying to do its best to be ready, to be almost race ready even before they reach the first preseason test in Bahrain. Now, of course, it's not going to be possible for every team. However, we've had the car launches. I mean, for a few teams who have actually revealed the car, others have just revealed the liveries. Even if we take that into consideration, there is still some information that we've gathered until now. So before the season starts, before we hit the tracks for the first time in Bahrain with the preseason test, I thought it was probably the right time that we take a look back and try to understand the kind of information that we already have with us before the first preseason test. Ultimately, in this video, what we will try to do is we will try to take a look at what we already know and how these things are going to help us as we head into the preseason test. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. Okay, now when we talk about the preseason test, first of all, Ferrari, well, that was the best preseason test of the entire season, to be honest. No other team came close when it came to the grandeur and the passion that was on display. In terms of the expectations, everyone is wary of Ferrari because it's been almost 15 years now since we've seen Ferrari win a championship. And when that happens, you always expect something to go wrong. And even, to be honest, even if I'm sitting here and saying that I expect Ferrari to be good in the preseason test, I'm not entirely sure and I have my suspicions and skepticism as well. Having said that, when it came to the car launch and the preseason expectation and the kind of energy they gave, I think Ferrari should be one of the leading contenders at the start of the season and might be the team to look at when the preseason test begins. Alongside Ferrari, I think Red Bull, they were quietly confident. They are always quietly confident and they don't reveal too much. I don't think they revealed much even this time around. It was the old car, but expect them to be right up there with Ferrari at the start of the season. Most importantly, I think it will be important to see what kind of reliability the Honda power unit shows. Last year, there were some issues at the start of the season, if you remember. Max had around 2 DNFs in the first 3 races. So that is something that they need to be very careful about. It will be interesting to see, but for now, if I have to pick 2 teams that might be leading the charge at the preseason test, it will be similar to what we had last year, and Ferrari and Red Bull might be the teams to keep an eye on. Now, the overall sentiment after the Mercedes launch was rather positive. There weren't too many negatives. George Russell said that he wanted to challenge for the title. Lewis had a similar sentiment. But what was obvious was from both Mike Elliott as well as Toto Wolff, they didn't sound as confident of starting to challenge for wins from the very first race. The focus was pretty much on the first upgrade at Baku. There seems to be a lot of focus on that, and now whether that is a good thing or not, I'm not entirely sure. Now Mercedes, what works for them is the fact that the team can develop a car throughout the season. The team did that very well last year as well, and I think it's safe to say the way the team developed, it would have shocked quite a lot of people because they closed the gap to Red Bull quite a bit. At the same time, it's also not a good thing that the team will be playing catch up this season again. So all in all, there are things that need to be worked out at Mercedes. There are quite a few rough edges that need to be straightened. Overall, I can't rule out Mercedes in any which way. It would be a foolish thing to do. at least in the first preseason test, it would be worth keeping an eye on if Mercedes is able to match up with Red Bull and Ferrari. Because if it isn't, playing catch up is never ideal. And if the team is planning to do that, I'm not entirely sure how that's going to pan out. Okay, now Aston Martin. Even though this is not a prediction video, here's one. I think Fernando Alonso wins the race this season. I will do a separate prediction video as well, but already I'm telling you one of those predictions is going to be the fact that Fernando Alonso wins a race this season. That's a bold prediction, but that is something I'm sticking by. The reason behind it is because it does appear that Fernando Alonso has, at least it appears, he has re-energized the team. They are more confident. Mike Crack has been quite a bit punchy against the other midfield competitors like McLaren and Alpine. Maybe they have something in the bag, I'm not sure, but maybe they do. And if that is the case, now the thing is, why will someone believe that? The reason behind anyone believing that is the fact that they have the pedigree now. They have engineers from Red Bull as well as Mercedes, and they are people with proven pedigrees. At some point or the other, the team is going to mesh together and start performing. It does appear 2023 might be the season where they do that. Now, I don't expect them to be in the championship hunt at all. I don't expect that. Maybe they might be able to fight for top 4, and if they are, I think maybe there will be a race where Fernando Alonso does what he does best, extract the best out of the car and maybe sneak a podium is a given, maybe a win as well. I'm not sure. Again, it's a bold prediction, but I think Fernando Alonso, he might be winning the race this season. Most importantly, as we head to the preseason test, I think it's important to keep an eye on Aston Martin and compare where it stands with respect to probably the other midfield contenders, because there will be, what needs to be seen is how the car looks on track and how it compares with the likes of Alpine, McLaren, Alfa Romeo, Alfa Tauri and others. Let's see, but there is something about Aston that is worth keeping an eye on. Yeah, now arguably the most disappointing, at least in my view, the most disappointing car launch was McLaren, because the team has two of the more dynamic talents on the F1 grid in Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Two young drivers that have the world in front of them and that are destined to do great things. Even then, the overall mood during the car launch was quite negative, to be honest. Andrea Stella is not entirely confident with the car that they have right now. There is this certain sense of team not bringing the best possible car that it could, something that Stella alluded to. When these kinds of things happen, it's not the best way to start a season. And they've not even started the season. They're already making excuses that wait for the upgrade at Baku. When you do that kind of things, you're starting on the back foot and you're already giving out reasons why the performance is not where it is expected to be. Not great signs. I'm slightly worried where McLaren will be. Both Alfa Romeo and Haas, they were nowhere in 2021, but they made a giant leap in 2022 as Alfa Romeo finished 6th while Haas finished 8th. Now, one of the reasons behind that happening is obviously the Ferrari power unit. It makes a huge difference. Now, there is expectation that the Ferrari power unit will be arguably having that 30 bhp jump. I'm not entirely sure it will be that much, but it will be there. At least you will see improvement, that is for sure. And the reliability, you should expect Ferrari to fix such things. And if those things are fixed, let's be fair, Haas tends to do well when Ferrari does well. Ferrari is expected to do well this season, and if that is the case, Haas should do well. For Kevin Magnussen and Hülkenberg, I think the season could be good. It all depends on how the car behaves on the first test. So yeah, keep an eye on it. Now, talking about Alfa Romeo, one of the things that is a feature this season is the weight saving practice from almost every other team. The black shade in almost every livery that we've seen. One of the reasons behind it is the weight saving measure. Now last season there was only one team that was bang on target when it comes to weight. It was Alfa Romeo, and it made the most of it with how it scored quite a few points early in the season. Now as the season progressed, we all saw that the team fell back. That was primarily because the weight saving advantage it went away. Now even this year we are seeing quite a few teams taking extreme measures to save weight. Now I'm not entirely sure, but this might help Alfa Romeo once again, and we could see the team at least be in the fight in the midfield. So now these are the 5 key things that we were able to gather from the car launches. Of course there will be more. Alpine it's still a mystery how good or bad the car is. All that we have to go on is the sentiments that were expressed by drivers. It was positive, but we need to see how it performs. So nothing concrete there. Other than that, Williams, not much to say. Alpha Tauri, pretty much a forgettable launch. They even nothing to say about that team either. So yeah, more or less we have these 5 takeaways that we have from the F1 car launches that we take to the preseason test. So do you think I missed something? I might have. If I did, drop your views in the comment section. If you agree, if you disagree, whatever it is, drop your views in the comment section. Please like the video, share it with your friends, and most importantly, subscribe. I hope you guys liked the video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.